Good afternoon, everybody. My name's Rick McCutcheon. I'm a Dynamics 365 MVP, and I'm here today with Nicholas Hayduk, another Dynamics 365 MVP, and we're going to be talking portals today. So over to you, Nick. Please introduce yourself.
Yeah, as you mentioned, my name is Nick Hayduk. I am the president of Engineered Code, which is a software engineering firm. So what we do is we specialize in two main areas. We specialize on building on top of the Common Data Service and Microsoft's Power Platform, as well as building web portals. So where those two specialties collide is, as you might have guessed, PowerApps portals.
So let's talk a little bit about, what is a portal? What makes something a portal? And then let's talk about Power Portals and other types of portals.
Yeah, so I guess when we're talking about portals, in a generic sense, we talk a portal as a website that kind of gives you more advanced functionality than just a kind of a marketing or a brochure website. So kind of the go-to example that we like to point to is a help desk type portal. So your customers can log in, they can submit support tickets, they can respond to your inquiries, that sort of thing. So that's kind of the traditional use case for a portal. But really anything where people are kind of logging on and interacting with other organizations, that kind of falls under the umbrella of portal.
Okay. And, when we're talking about portal projects in our world of Dynamics 365, which is now kind of referred to as CDS with the Common Data Service, which is the underlying architecture that, we develop on. What makes portals complicated and different? Because, in my experience, a lot of partners, get all set, they're going to build this portal for a customer, and they end up on the side of the hill. They can't make it quite up.
Yeah, so the thing with portals is that because they are built on top of CDS and they were kind of built on top of what are now known as model-driven apps, people think that their skills will just easily translate. But I like to kind of think of it as, there's now three types of apps in the Power Apps. There's Canvas, there's Model, and there's Portals. So you wouldn't just take someone who's been doing model-driven apps, they've been doing Dynamics their whole life, and just say, hey, tomorrow, you just build me one of those Canvas apps, right? It's just another type of app, right? So the skill set is it's very different. When you're looking at resourcing a portals project, you need someone who's got that front-end web development experience, and that's not common for a typical Dynamics developer. Yes, they might know JavaScript, but it's more kind of application type JavaScript as opposed to front end user interface type JavaScript. So the skill set is very different. The audience is also very different. So you don't have nearly as much control over your external audience as you may an internal audience. So you have to worry about, what are all the different browsers that they're using and how are they going to react, and can you train them as much as you can train an internal audience? For sure you can't. So the other thing that we find is that the look and feel, the user experience is really everything with these portals. We find that organizations really care way more about what their customers see than what their internal staff see. So a lot of partners aren't kind of prepared for how picky customers will be about how their portal looks.
Exactly. So I'll have a developer build a portal, and then I'll come look at it, and functionality is okay, right?
Yep.
And I can look at it on my phone and its sizes and everything, but it just looks horrible, right? And you think, we need a logo, we need some nice buttons, we need a nice layout, and that's really important to that customer experience. Because if I'm coming in and I'm a little upset, I got a customer service ticket to put in, and I look at this portal and it looks like a disaster, I'm not going to have a lot of faith in that company that they're going to be able to help me with that ticket.
Exactly.
Okay. So, there's been some release notes come out this week. What's new, spring wave, all this type of stuff.
Yep.
Anything with portals we need to know about?
Yeah. So obviously kind of the big change occurred last fall when Microsoft announced PowerApps portals. So now we can build portals on top of CDS, and we no longer have the dependencies on the Dynamics apps. So whereas before you needed to have at least a Dynamics app to install a portal, now with these the 2020 Wave 1 release, what we really see is where Microsoft focus is going to be, and that is on the low-code, no-code maker experience. They're working on what's called the PowerApps Portal Studio, which is, people who are familiar with the new way of developing model-driven apps or Canvas apps, they'll be kind of familiar with the look and feel of that interface. And really the idea is they're not investing so much in new functionality or features for the platform. but they're just trying to make the existing features that already are there, they're trying to make them easier for people who are maybe not so technical to use. So that doesn't mean they're not, they've forgotten about, maybe the more advanced users. So for us developers, they've given us a nice new API that will let us do a lot more things that we couldn't do before. But really their focus is on taking the functionality that currently exists and make it easier to use for the citizen developers.
Okay, fantastic. And, I know we had this discussion before, but a lot of my clients have like WordPress sites, and they really want to develop a portal on a WordPress site or another application, like Shopify that they're using. Can you do that? Can you link those applications up to Dynamics?
For sure, yeah. So I mean, the Microsoft offering isn't for everyone. What it really isn't is it's not it's not an enterprise content management system. It has basic CMS capabilities, but if you need a full-featured content management system, Portals is just not there yet, and I don't know if it will ever be there. And you mentioned Shopify. There's really no e-commerce built into PowerApps Portals either. So in those cases, if you've already got those platforms, you can still leverage PowerApps Portals. Put it on a subdomain, for example. Create a customer portal for submitting your help desk tickets. But the other option is that a lot of those other platforms also have integrations with Dynamics or integrations with CDS. So the Microsoft offering is not the only option for building a portal. If you've already made an investment in existing technology, there's a good chance a lot of the common platforms will have integrations with CDS. So PowerApps Portals is not the only option for building a portal.
And your organization deals with those types of one-off type projects?
Yeah, so probably our go-to if we're not doing a PowerApps Portals would be WordPress. People love the price point. There's a really solid solution built by another MVP called Alexa CRM that builds an integration between Dynamics, CDS, and WordPress. So that would be probably our go-to. But there's solutions for Drupal. There's solutions for so many of the other platforms out there, Sitefinity. So like I said, we do portals. We do portals that are not even necessarily tied to CDS. So we do a wide range of portals. But obviously we like to tie it to CDS when we can.
So if I'm a Dynamics customer and I've got my sales done, my customer service done, my field service done, now I got to look at portals. What's my starting point? What do I really have to think about? And, who do I have to bring in to help me?
Yeah. So, I mean, the first thing, I'm a huge believer in the minimum viable product. So trying to look at all the different use cases for a portal, trying to do it all in one big bite is probably not going to lead to success. So what we find is phase one, get your help desk in there. I mean, it's usually the most common, the common use case. Get your help desk done. Integrate it with the service module. But again, it's all about identifying the proper resources internally to put on that project. So you need someone with experience in the front end development. The other thing I see a lot of people kind of forget to do is that Microsoft has these pre-built templates that you can install. They've got the customer service template. They've got the community template. They've got the partner template. We see a lot of people reinventing the wheel when Microsoft has already built that functionality for them. Now, rarely do you just install it and away you go. But if you're building something for your partners, there's a lot of value in those starter templates that you should be installing to spin up a trial environment. It's so easy now to spin up trial environments, even in your own Dynamics or CDS tenant, and you can install them, play around with them. Unfortunately, the documentation on those templates is maybe not as detailed as I would like. So really the best way to get familiar with them is to install them, play around with them, and see what they've got and see how you can leverage the investment that Microsoft has already made for your own business.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Nick. As always, I repost your blog and your videos, and I tell my viewers, if you want to take a technical thrill ride in portals, follow Nick Hayduk. So Nick, I'll let you close off, and thank you very much for being on this Partner Talks.
Yeah, no, thanks so much for having me. If you're interested in anything portals, follow me on LinkedIn, and I live and breathe portals, so always happy to chat portals with anyone.
All right, thanks. Have a great day.
You too.